good evening, and good morning to Japan. Welcome to the Sashiko Live Streaming. This is Atsushi, and this is the Sashiko Live Streaming where I do the Sashiko stitching while talking about Sashiko. Just a second. The air around this area is also pretty bad, so I think we have okay inside of the house, but sorry if I start coughing or something. I don't have a good I have some issues. Okay, there we go. And that makes me so sleepy. I don't know if that's related or not, but anyway, I will move to the stitching. Yeah, and my wife and my daughters are not here right now, so I don't really talk during the day. This is my first time probably to open my mouth, so I don't know how my throat is gonna react to it, but let's see how it's gonna go. Okay, let me check the audio. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. I will switch the camera. I hope everybody's doing okay in the East Coast. It was quite bad outside today, and yesterday too. So to explain what's going on right now, the air quality in the New York area, like East Coast, right now probably New York is a little too narrow. It's more like East Coast, and I live a little bit above Harrisburg in Pennsylvania, and that's quite bad. So let's see how it's. I think it's okay right now, but if I start coughing, please understand that I'm not doing good. Huh. I haven't completed this pattern. Just a second. Do I do this one? Probably not. Let's do this one first. Hello. Thank you so much for coming to the live streaming. This is the kind of this is the live streaming where I talk about Sashiko while stitching Sashiko, so please bring something for you to stitch as well. I don't want to make it like a lecture or webinar or tutorials. It's more like me talking about something kind of related to Sashiko, yet not focusing on like teaching or, I don't focus on techniques here. The air quality was, I did not realize it until yesterday, but my eyes are so itchy since the beginning of this week, I guess. And I keep coughing. I have a little bit of asthma issues, so I cannot say the word. Raspberry issue. Yeah, so I will stitch. I may not talk as much as I used, as much as I want. It's probably not a good idea to drink some soda, but I open it right now without even thinking about it. I gotta do the yard work though. I kind of keep neglecting that, so I don't know when I can do it next time. I have to mow the grass. You know, usual stuff. Respiratory. I can't spell it. I just cannot pronounce that. I have to practice. We had this smoke about a week ago. It was horrible. My eyes were unhappy and I had a headache until the rain cleared all the smoke out. Oh, okay. So the reason I keep feeling under the weather in this previous week or even like this week is probably because of that. I thought I had a cat allergy. I probably mentioned it last week too little bit, but I thought I had a cat allergy, and every day was getting worse and worse. I took some, Benadryl. It helped a little bit, but that's kind of weird that I had to take the allergy pill. And since I don't watch TV, I don't have TV here, and I don't watch like a CNN or Fox or MBS, whatever it is, news TV channel until I actually try to look for that. So my wife told me how I was doing, and I did not know what was going on until she told me. Now it's everywhere, so. Yeah, my work does not require to go outside. And it's all good. But yeah, my throat is a little bit weird. My eyes are really bad. Anyway, I hope you're having a good Thursday night as well, wherever you are. The good part of Sashiko is that you don't really have to prepare for that. I mean, there's of course a very important process of preparing it, and there's a very important process of finishing it. But Sashiko itself does not require any preparation. You just can't jump into that. And I hope this Thursday night is one of those times that you can just jump in and, stitch together. Sometimes have days like that in Hong Kong, and it's really unpleasant. This is how those are the time we realize how important the ordinary is. We can breathe in the clear air, but once we sort of lose it, we really feel that something is missing. And Sashiko is that too. There's a reason I keep saying Sashiko is not the art. The Sashiko is the core, or like the essential character of Sashiko exists in the ordinary. That is not really a fighting or argument. It's more like suggestion that by forgetting how Sashiko was from the ordinary practice, we may be forgetting something very, very important, which I cannot verbalize because it's too ordinary to me. I am trying my best here. Many other platforms, and live streaming is one of those, but it is too normal, too ordinary to me that I cannot put that in the sentence, or probably that's not something nobody can put into the sentence. What we can come too close to that is the just analogy. And but unfortunately, for those who are sort of leading the Sashiko in English right now, like teaching, publishing, they do not have the Japanese culture as their ordinary. Or the Sashiko, actually. Japanese Sashiko as the ordinary. So I feel like something big is missing. And I would say that it's ordinary, but I understand it does not make sense. It's not explaining well enough. But my goal is to pass it down somehow. So ordinary is something not significant, something we do not pay attention every single day, when we have it. But it's something very significant when we do not have it all of a sudden. One of the very, very good measure to see if the Sashiko is part of your ordinary day is that if you can continue it or not. If they can continue or not you. There's no problem if they decided to not to continue, but for those who continue doing Sashiko, not like reading or writing or watching or stitching, those who keeps doing Sashiko for, let's say, 10 years, 20, let's say 20 years, those are the kind of the answer. Those who stitched every day for like 20 years, then their stitching has to be part of the ordinary. And the key is, though, every day or as every day as possible. And it's not me then. I'm not part of them. I cannot be them because I don't stitch that much. That's why I keep saying I'm not the master or artisan, or my ordinal is not really stitching itself. My ordinal is Sashiko, but not really stitching itself. I know many people who had Sashiko as the ordinally, that's why I can speak for them, but not like exactly what it is. That's why it's so difficult. And those who has the ordinally in their blood do not use the language well. Doesn't have to be English, but not Japanese too. We have to guess what they're feeling, what they're saying, what they're thinking. Few Japanese friends told me that the few of my Japanese friends told me that I am doing something impossible, and I feel it is something impossible, but somebody has to do it. I mean, there are so many cultures which gave up on that. A few reasons: because they have to make a living. Second, they don't have that much language skill. In order to be persistent, one has to have a good amount of language skill, and that cannot be just, like, for example, I am learning Spanish a little bit, and Hebrew and Russian, and some languages, but I cannot be persistent about what I have to share in different language because I cannot keep it up. I'm trying to use English as the second language or the first language for my family, and as the result I can do this much talking. That's a different story when it comes to that. So we cannot expect the other Japanese people to be like me, or to even represent, or to follow, or to take over what I do. That's why it's so difficult. Those who comes to the US to study English will not probably jump into Sashiko and spend 10 years, 20 years just doing Sashiko before they start speaking. So it's kind of difficult to make that happen. But I'm not giving it up. I am not giving it up. It is a very big trend. Sashiko has become a very big trend. I have to admit, I knew it. I knew it very much, and I was told that it's getting very, very big. And I knew it. But this domestic course makes me realize how big, how fast actually though. It's kind of scary though. It's pretty fast. And when we want to get an answer in that speed, probably we don't get it that there. It's probably too fast. No, I mean, I'm nowhere to control it, but it's probably too fast. Well, there's nothing I can do about it though. I have to just be persistent. And in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, we will have a different scenery, different view from now, so. My goal is to keep stitching until that day. Not even, I will be stitching regardless, so I will be alive, actually, for that matter. Until that day, or that year, that age. When I go back to the UK, I hope to eventually run some home-based class as an extension of what I learned from you and introducing what you do. Oh, that'll be so brilliant. Not a brilliant, I'm sorry. That'll be so... Oh, I cannot get that word. Not a cute. Oh, sweet. Wow. That'll be so sweet. Thank you. I have not used language for 2 weeks. This is it's the end of the 2 weeks of me being by myself here. I enjoyed a lot. Not enjoyed it. Well, I did not enjoy it. Well, I shouldn't say I enjoyed it, but I spent a lot of... I completed a lot of projects, so I'm pretty happy about it. I did the flooring experiment, so I can do the flooring right now upstairs for my, family's space. I wanted to practice first, so I did it for myself. It went pretty good, so. And I'm happy with that. I did some painting on the walls. And I took him. Oh my! Sorry. Yeah, the air itself is not that great, even though it's inside. I should probably get some air purifier, which I have never thought that I would get. Usually the place I live in, the air is pretty good, I think. It's out of nowhere, so. The bad air is like a smell of fertilizer, like some animals' feces, fertilizer smell. That's the air, bad air for me, like smell-wise. I did not expect this. But yeah, it's what it is. Did I bring any topic today? I probably did not bring any topic, okay. Nope, TBA. Oopsie. I'll come back to normal probably at the end of the June. I will have more time to sort of pound in my head. Like, I will probably start talking to myself in my brain toward the end of this month, after I get back to kind of normal. then I will have more topics to talk about. But I don't want to do too much like advertisement, but because of the class right now I offer, everything I talk about becomes like advertisement, which I kind of don't like it. I know I should, but I don't like it too much. I know when I have to do it, and when I really have to do it, I do it. But it's not my first choice. But I have to focus on that right now. So let's see. I'll be back toward the end of June. I should be able to have a little more time to do it. To be me again. As the bad air makes me sleepy, I'm so sleepy today again. And I think I slept enough today. So strange. Oh, I had a kind of question. Do you think my talking, the stories I share, the live streaming, if you know me in person, like anything I talk about, is it philosophical? I don't mean to be philosophical. It's not that I don't like it, but I try to not to be too difficult. My goal is to verbalize my feeling, my ideas, my stories, so that as easy as possible, so that many other people can understand or even be on the same page. So, okay, so my stories are philosophical, okay. And this is a kind of crazy question again. Is it good or bad? It's probably not a matter of good or bad, but in my feeling, being philosophical means a little bit of troublesome or difficult or stubborn or smartass or whatever it is. Like it's not so good image to me. It is good image, okay. In Japanese language, if somebody told me you were very philosophical, ugh, it can be very, very compliment. It can be a very strong compliment, but 90% it's probably ironic comment, and I don't want to be one of those. I don't know what philosophy is, and I don't know if I like it or not. I read some, but I don't know. So it's more. Thank you so much for the comment. The dualism of Japanese culture lead to the philosophical bent. It is. So I think what I feel as the normal as the Japanese culture is already philosophical. Not difficult, just culturally different, and thus important and interesting. The cultural part makes it so interesting. Huh. I am philosophical, down to the earth, and factual. Ah? Ah? Like, you're saying I'm sweet but salty too. Like, it's Snickers. I'm a Snickers now, then. Or like a... What's that? Ah! Reeds? The peanut butter chocolate, that's super sweet yet salty, so... Hello from upstate New York. Your writing and talking reflects someone with deep thoughts, in my opinion. Thank you. It's all compliment. I feel good. How are you from the upstate New York? It was bad yesterday, right? Syracuse area? I'm gonna be there in October. And I know the area right now. I, Googled a few months ago. And now those air came down to our place. So, not really a good place right now. Huh, interesting. So, just, this is already a cultural difference, but in my understanding of Japanese culture, being philosophical is really not a good thing. Oh, you're from Ithaca. You are in the Ithaca, so Ithaca. So, is it good? Well, it's really not always the positive way to consider. I mean, I understand that it's a positive way to, compliment someone in English, but at the same time, Japanese really don't know what philosophy is. We do have the word for that, and of course, we have so many philosophers as well, but what is philosophy, by the way? Philosophy is the study of searching for someone's happiness. Is that a good? What is the philosophy? Let's Google. What is the philosophy's definition? Philosophy. I said like looking for somebody's happiness, but happiness is not something we should look for. It's something we realize. So philosophy's definition: the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and exercise, especially when considered as the academic steps. The study of the theoretical basis of the particular branch of the knowledge or experience. Okay. Good to know. So I don't really have to think about it that much, I guess, right? Technically speaking, I don't have to worry about it. I don't want to be too spiritual neither. I sometimes tend to be quite spiritual because of the Japanese culture behind it. Spirituality is one thing. It's actually the animism. So we're not talking about like exorcism or something like that. More like the, we have spirit somewhere, everywhere. So this needle has the spirit in it. I don't know what he's thinking. But the Japanese language has also when I speak in Japanese, each sound based on the hiragana, there are 51 sound, if I'm not mistaken. And each sound has meaning too. And meaning means like the spirit in it. and each sound combined into the word, and the word has sound, and the sound has also spirit in it. So we call it kotodama, which is the spirit of language. No, spirit of saying it, the word. That's another reason I keep saying that the word matters. You know, not many people say it's just the word anymore to me, to my face. 3-4 years ago, many people told me that it's just a word, you know, calm down, stop overreacting. And it is just a word. And anybody can use it for that. Anybody can use the word Sashiko for any reasons, for any purpose. And there's no problem with that. But somebody has to say that there are spirit in it. I don't know what spirit in it, but there are people, the Japanese people, who believe the spirit in it. So by saying whatever is fine, it's not really disrespecting to me per se, or to anybody who practices Sashiko right now. What I'm probably trying to protect is the past. You know, I consider you who are here or who learn from me are the future of Sashiko, and I cannot be the future of Sashiko because I'm too boring. As Sashiko became so popular in all over the world, it is already adapted to the English. There's no future of Sashiko without people all over the world. It cannot be sustained. It is not sustainable anymore by just being Japanese. Or that's only we have. It's already there. It's already out. And it is already, the word itself has its meaning. So the future of Sashiko, if there are any, has to, or it is already formed as from the globe. So there's no way that it's not my intention to exclude non-Japanese. I want to include. My intention is opposite. If I were asked to what I would feel 30 years ago, 40 years ago, let's say, I'm well, I was a baby when 40 years ago I was not even born. So 40 years ago, if I were the same position, if they asked me what's the future of Sashiko, I may have said something different. But right now with the internet, the future of Sashiko is with anybody who wants to learn, who wants to enjoy Sashiko. So, you are a future. And what I do is very old-fashioned, and people might call it traditional, but I'm the past. And it is okay to be the past. I just want to make sure that I can protect. Not even protect, I can acknowledge the past so that we can, at some point, respect our owner. We don't have to follow the past. Like, well, we have to, follow the tradition because that's what they did. We have to respect the tradition. Not really, I don't think. I mean, it's great that if people respect tradition or rituals, that's honor the tradition, that's great. But it does not have to be always that way. It's not a priority. Like, respecting the culture, respecting the tradition is not the priority. Sometimes we can ignore the tradition to make it something different happen. But what we cannot do is to ignore that. Ignore means like, not knowing is one thing, but not acknowledging it is the things I don't like about it. That's something I will have to stop. And that's the whole reason I'm doing it. What? is that? This is my first time to snap the needle's head on this fabric. Oh my, it's not a good sign. Huh. It never happens. Well, it happens when I do the denim. So it's... I mean, it was probably old. But it's not... Huh. Let's see where the needles are. I gotta go get a needle. Just this. Did I use different needle? Probably that's the case. No, I don't use different needle. Okay, I'll be right back. Oh gosh. Wow. Did I talk too much? We sometimes try to... No, not sometimes. We tend to find a meaning when something very unusual happens. It can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing, it can be something. But we try to find a meaning behind it. It's the first time, it is actually the first time on this fabric. First time in many... I have done that in the denim before. Wow. Something is going on. Which is a little bit scary. But you've seen that. This explains that I don't do any editing on this live streaming. You've seen that. Something is wrong. What is wrong? Oh, it's kind of creepy. Something was not right from the beginning. I kept slipping. You know, you probably saw me twice that I slipped the needles. I lost a few stitches because I could not pull the needles out. So it can be my hands are so slippery. On my... Interesting. So, you know, it's just the needles had broke down by pulling the needles out from the fabric in the wrong direction with too much force. But as I reacted to this, the many Japanese people probably have reacted the same way, and they did a lot of fortune telling based on that. And I believe that the needle is one of the tools they used for it too. I don't know how exactly, but needles are something very sacred. Come on. Wow, something is actually not. Something is off. I have to be careful. Sometimes we do know more than we know. Sometimes our brain, our body knows more than what the consciousness can verbalize or tell to a brain to verbalize it. Now, bad feeling, like I feel bad feeling or chill, or those, like right now is this breaking the needles. I'm pretty sure there's nothing going on, but people before the internet, people who, when they had to depend on the nature, they use a lot of those signs to predict the future. And I try to kind of follow it. And the reason I keep saying like it's not a bad sign that much is that I don't feel chill yet. If I start feeling chill right now, then I probably gotta do something. I don't know what something is, but it can just happen and it can be both good or bad. It is something different. That's what I have to realize, that something is different. So I can be more careful, I can pay attention to something else, or I can be mindful about it more. It's not a sign of something bad happening. It's the sign of something changing. So our brain, not a brain, our hand, muscle, brain, or anything like fifth sense, seventh sense, sixth sense, whatever you call it, they try to when we have something ordinary, we can have it as a sign. If the Sashiko becomes the like an art process, let's say it's the extraordinary process for somebody, there's nothing wrong with that. But if that became the extraordinary, something different is a good thing. It's more like fortunate things to happen, which is great too. But many people try to find something different in the ordinary, and that was the sign of something good or bad happens, which means change. It can be both, either way. So for that, I will stop the live streaming after one more thread. I will do one more thread. So if you have any questions or any concerns or anything to the next live streaming, wow, it has been 45 minutes though. What was I talking about today? I have to talk about one day. I don't know if I can talk about it, but I have to really talk to sometimes how Japanese could have two religions, completely different religions together simultaneously. It is still my biggest, like, what the heck question. And there's so many, books about it, so many theories, so many studies. There's so many professionals, expert in these studies. And there are even word for that. There's a history and there's a lot of things. But that's how we kind of accepted the two different things into one culture. It's really not that common, in my understanding. But yeah, we have Shinto and Buddhism simultaneously, and we both kind of follow both naturally. This was my first time joining the live. Oh, thank you so much for coming. I hope you come back next Thursday. Hi, Sakura. Hi. Hi. どうした?どうした? Well, well. I hope tomorrow is gonna be a little bit better air day. I'm sorry, tomorrow will be the better in terms of air. I gotta go outside. The time goes so quickly. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for coming. Today I don't remember much. The fact that I broke the needle kind of took over everything. Have a good weekend. You too. I'm not finishing it though. I gotta finish this much thread. You know me. I cannot finish. I don't stop stitching until I finish up all the thread. It's not my custom to leave the thread behind, which many people have different custom. Some people keep the thread on purpose, and vice versa too. I'm the vice versa side. I don't like. Not like, but for some reason I make myself to do the. For some reason I feel comfortable when there's no thread on the needle, which I can explain why, but it's more like explanation after I do it. The explanation comes later, so kind of it's meaningless to have the explanation. Like I feel comfortable that way. I've joined the. I have just joined you for the first time from Australia. Thank you so much. Arigatou gozaimasu. Yeah, that was a rare moment. I don't know if I gotta ask my Japanese friends tomorrow, but I don't think I have never broke my needles on the live streaming. In fact, I don't really break the needles like that. So it is very, very unusual thing. I change the needles every 2-3 months. But it's usually because the needles start bending. It does not really get dull much. If she's still here, but somebody used the same needle for few years or 5 years, that's a little, but that's how good it is, so we don't really have to change it that often. Like 3 months is too early. But when it's kind of started bending, which is my fault, which is my... It's because of my poor skill. Bending the needle is not something I can be happy about. Which means like I'm adding the extra stress to the needle. I'm not listening to the needles as much as I should. Snipping the needle's eyes are more like not listening to the needle at all, which is very, very unusual. So, as I kept saying, like, this is the sign of change. So, not only me, you too. There might be something happening, so be careful with that. Like, my body is probably tensed. It can be because of the air. It can be something in the future. I don't know at this moment. But because of that extra power, extra force, something unusual happened. And Sashiko is a great way to tell that something unusual is happening. I might be just tired. I might be... I might suffer from asthma tonight. Which I am gonna be okay because I got an inhaler today. Should be fine. Yesterday was a little difficult. Yeah, be careful. Not careful, be mindful. There might be a little bit of a change today. I don't want to be like a fortune teller. I don't want to be too spiritual, but for some reason today's live streaming went that way, so I apologize. It does not mean bad, it's just a change. I mean, who can decide bad or good? Okay, so I will stop the live streaming after this much thread, which is fairly soon. If there's any questions for the next live streaming, please let me know. If you're watching this as the archive, please leave the comments so I can bring to the next live streaming. My domestic course is always available, and if you could click the link from this website, that'd be really appreciated. That helps me to understand how many people comes from the my platform, which is going to help them to understand if they should make more than one or not. And I do have a Japanese live streaming tomorrow, which is my time, so tonight in Japanese time, where I talk about Sashiko in Japanese. Okay. Hi, Sakura. But where is my... Hurry? Oh, Alright, thank you so much for coming to the live streaming, and I will see you next Thursday. It's gonna be the same time. Probably the same length, 1 hour or so. And I will start sharing more stories on Instagram. I will try to be back to the normal toward the end of this June. And I hope you can come back to the next week. I hope you have a good night. Have a good night. Bye-bye.